What's up, everybody? Welcome to the First and Goal podcast. For those that are new, this podcast is geared for parents and student athletes to keep them informed about everything they need to know from camps, combines, social and emotional development, leadership skills, and all that. So this is our second season. This is the beginning of our second season. And I wanted to start with something that we never covered in the first season, which was recovery for the body. It's a big deal for athletes, especially the older you get, to be able to treat your body and know how to treat your body to recover. I mean, it's huge. You take a lot of punishment in a football game, and when you do take this punishment, what do you do when it's over? A lot of people just tell you just the ice, but I think there's more that goes into just icing. And so today we will talk about some of those things. We have some guests that specialize in that. We have Mr. Matt Pepe, who is from iCryo, who will be talking about cryotherapy. And then we also have Miss Chrishauna Thomas, who is from Top Notch Massage, who will talk about the importance of massages. I'll tell you this, I didn't really ever have a massage until I had the opportunity to get one in college. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be because it actually hurt. So she's going to go into all that. But first, before we even get into that, we have a special guest that I would like to introduce. We have the U.S. Army National Guard, who will be actually talking and giving some information today. So with our new format, we have 4 downs. First down, second down, third down, and fourth down. And on first down, we have...
First Down, brought to you by the National Guard.
So today we are going to be bringing in Staff Sergeant Jaron Wall, who will be talking about some of the things with National Guard and recruiting and some of those processes. And before we get started, we have a short video from the website. Awesome. Staff Sergeant Jaron Wall, first of all, thank you for your service and everything that you do.
Hey,
we really appreciate it. And next, I just want to get into some of what we saw in that video. Like tell me if somebody is interested in becoming a guard. We've seen so many different things in that video, from carpentry to actually being on the front lines. Tell me, if somebody was interested in being in the National Guard, where would they start?
So the first step is definitely to talk to a recruiter, like myself. That's really the source, right? That's where you're going to get a lot of your information from. That's where you're going to kind of develop a relationship with that recruiter to really, so that way they can get to know you, get to know what your goals are and where you want to be and how we can use the Guard to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one step.
So then, once you take that step, one of the things that I always tell my athletes is they should always have a plan B. Of course, most of the guys that I deal with going to college, getting a scholarship, is plan A and playing football. But they think if they take the option of, being in the armed force, that dream is over. Is that true? So going into an armed force, do you still have the opportunity to play ball, and is school paid for?
Yeah, so absolutely. We've got a ton of soldiers. So we like to call them citizen soldiers, right? Because you're doing your thing citizen-wise, and then, right, you're using your part-time to serve the military and your community and the country. So really, that's why I love the National Guard so much, right? Is I would say it's probably one of the most free branches to serve, right? As far as pursuing your personal goals and personal life. We've got a ton of student athletes that are also National Guard soldiers, right? Whether that be in high school or even college. We've actually gotten all you have to do is type in, football players in the Army, and there's a ton, right, that have either gotten out of, gotten done playing football, they wanted to serve their country, right, or some that have done that previously in college and then gotten an NFL career. So there's tons out there.
Awesome. So then tell me, what are some of the requirements if a young person is watching right now? What are the requirements that they need? For example, we all know going into the college, you have to take the SAT, ACT. So I was told that there's a similar test for armed forces.
That's right. So some of the requirements are going to be, mentally, medically, and then obviously morally, right? So mentally being the ASVAB, right? So the ASVAB, Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, right? Pretty long one. That's why we just stick with ASVAB. So that one's 10 sections. It's like 3.5 hours long. But the main ones are really just English and math. If you are hitting those hard, you're going to succeed on it.
Awesome. So let me ask you this: is there something that a high school student, can do now to get rank to where once they graduate from high school and go into the armed service, they actually have rank behind them?
Yeah. So there's several scenarios. So being a high school student, you can be in a JROTC program, and part of those classes is once you complete 2 years, you can come in as an E2, 3 and up, you're coming in as an E3, right? So every branch kind of differs on that, on what they allow for promotions ahead of time. The National Guard even has further than that. Say you haven't done ROTC and you can join the National Guard as a 17-year-old junior in high school. You're going to training over the summer, right? And then once you graduate, the cool part about that is you can gain rank before you even ship to training by referring a buddy, or completing what we call stripes for skills. So there's a couple different ways to gain rank before you even go to any basic training.
Awesome. Now let me ask you this, because a lot of young people, it's about money, and they love money. I've had kids tell me they can't make it to practice because I got to go to work. So how is money made? Where do you come in at? And I know ranking also determines, how much money you can have or make at that time. Could you explain that a little bit for someone who may be watching, trying to figure out the financial part?
Yeah, so that's kind of the beauty of it as well, right? Is that you're serving part-time, and you're like, wait, a part-time job, how am I going to make enough money? So full-time, if you're going to college, right, we have a lot of different scenarios that are going to really help you out. So you're putting on this uniform after training for minimum 2 days a month, okay? So one weekend out of the month. Full-time, you're in school, okay? So what that means is, though, is that we're paying up to 100% of the tuition at any of the 4-year state universities and community colleges. So that's with our North Carolina Tuition Assistance Program. Now, on top of that, we're paying you monthly, right, with a GI Bill in your pocket, right? Your Montgomery GI Bill is paying you $397 a month, right, just to go to school full time, tax free, okay, in your pocket while you're in school. If you score average or higher on the ASVAB, there's extra incentives there, like bonuses for certain jobs. There's GI Bill kicker, right? Just extra money on top of that GI Bill to go to school. And then you're making several $100s just to come in for the drill weekend and to do that job that you chose. So, you stack all that up, and then especially if you add on ROTC in college, you can make up to upwards of $1,500 a month while you're in school full time.
Awesome. Yeah, you can't beat that. Now,
no.
You had mentioned jobs. And that was actually, like my last question. I wanted to know, because from the video, there's a wide range of opportunity. And then you also said the job that you choose. So what goes into the process of helping the young people choose a job? And what are some of the rangings of what you can do once you get into the National Guard?
So, number one, we take a look at the ASVAB, right? We take a look at how they do. That has several different, like I said, 10 sections, right? how they come up with these line scores is basically just kind of a formula of those sections, right? So it literally breaks down into whether they'd be more proficient at something mechanical, something electrical, clerical skills, literally all these things. And we can see all of that and kind of where they excel at, and they may not even know. So that's kind of the beauty of that. And then it's literally measuring aptitude. So we take a look at that. We take a look at qualification, and then, you know, the recruiter's going to sit down with them and really pick their brain on where they want to be in the future, right? So if they want to use those job skills that they're gaining from the National Guard in the civilian market, right? That's a big one that I personally, pull out of every applicant. And then on top of that, we also get college credits for the training that we get, right? So say, you're trying to be something in the medical field. Well, a lot of our medical MOSs or jobs give you a ton of college credits just for attending the training. So you're actually getting a leap forward ahead on your skills.
Awesome. So then let me ask you this, man, finally, if we range from everywhere. I have people that watch from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all the way down to here to North Carolina and on the West Coast as well. So where do I start? Where do I go? I know we have the North Carolina National Guard website at the bottom of the ticker, but for those who are looking and they're not in North Carolina, where do you go?
So there is a federal site, the www.nationalguard.com. Okay, that's going to be the federal site. Each state has their own individual kind of runoff site as well. But really every state and even some of the territories like Puerto Rico, right, have a National Guard as well. And really what that serves as is just a local, support system for each state, right? So in times of natural disasters, civil unrest, right, the National Guard is going to be there to support that state, okay? And even others if they're asking for help. That's kind of the big goal there and why we do it that way. Awesome.
Well, Staff Sergeant, I thank you for the time that you've given us, and hopefully this won't be the last time you show up on the First and Goal podcast. Is there anything else that you would like to just drop and contact information, how to get in contact? It's on the ticker on the bottom, guys, but how could you give up some more information on how to get to you?
So, I mean, the biggest things are on that ticker, all right? So that's my cell phone number. I answer it all the time. I get people at midnight that decide they want to do this, all right? So just let me know. My Instagram's on there as well. I post tons of stuff on there. You can see me, every time somebody enlists, I put it on there. If you're interested in benefits, things like that, just to look at iGuardNC.com. It's a great way. If you're a part of, another state, definitely visit nationalguard.com. They'll get you in touch with a recruiter in your area. So that's pretty much it. I appreciate the time.
Cool. Thank you very much, Staff Sergeant, and we'll be back in contact with you again, and we'll definitely have you back on the First and Goal podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you. So once again, anybody who is interested in the National Guard, please make sure you review the film. The ticker's down there. We'll make sure we post this information again so that you guys can see it. And if there's an option that you want to have, that's option B. We all have our plan A, but we definitely always should have a plan B. And if that's your plan B, we can help you with that resource. So please take advantage of it. Take advantage of the information. Review it just in case. Keep it in your back pocket. You never know. So now we have Second Down coming up.
Second Down, brought to you by iCryo.
So iCryo is something that I've seen people do cryotherapy, right? And it's pretty intense because you're in this big vault with like all this smoke coming out. I've never been in it. I had a player, Hamilton Moore, who played for me, and he used to go into it all the time. Don't know if it was for me or not, but I ended up getting with the owner of iCryo, Matt Pepe, and he and I have sat down and talked through social media, and he's inviting me to a facility that they're opening up and here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I told him I needed him on the show so he can explain it. So with no further ado, here's Mr. Matt Pepe, owner of iCryo. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So there is so much to ask you because cryotherapy for a lot of people is foreign. I mean, a lot of us don't know about it. And so when I went to the website to do my research about interviewing, I came up with, like they were talking about freezing the body and the benefits of freezing the body. So can you tell me about that? What are some of the benefits of freezing the body?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you said I didn't know if it was for me earlier. And the reality is it's kind of for everybody. It really at the core of it treats pain and inflammation, and it's something that everyone deals with. From athletes who are young and training hard and working hard in their games to adults who start to get those aches and pains that start to add up. And one of the things I like to say when I explain what cryotherapy is, it's not really new as a service. The ancient Greeks were doing it after, when the gladiators performed and they would jump into cold plunges. All across the world, people hear about doing cold plunges and going outside for cold, immediate cold therapy. And then we moved down to things like ice packs and then ice baths that you see in training rooms. This is really just a new way to apply the cold therapy. So now we have a more modern way. We have these cold chambers, as you explained, and really, like I said, the biggest benefit is decreasing inflammation in the body, and it does that by immediately boosting blood flow. So when you're in the chamber and it's cold, all of your blood vessels they start to actually close up, which is the opposite of what I just mentioned, but it serves a purpose. It sends all the blood back to your core. And there it gets reoxygenated. So as you're still breathing while you're in the machine, you're reoxygenating that blood, and you're only in there for 3 minutes. So when you step out of that machine, that blood goes immediately back to your muscles and brings with it all that oxygen, all those nutrients, and it immediately starts to heal all those pain points. So it has a great systemic effect.
So we had a question: does it help with arthritis?
Absolutely. Actually, some of our members and guests that stay the longest, I would say, who get the most benefit out of it long term, are people who are living with chronic pain. So things like arthritis, low back pain, think of things like that. So
you said 3 minutes. How intense is that cold within 3 minutes?
I almost don't want to tell you.
All right.
It's our machine gets down to negative 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it hits you cold and fast. But like I said, you're in there for 3 minutes. You come out, and as soon as those blood vessels open back up, about 30 seconds after you get out of that machine is really the best point. That's where that blood's flowing. You have an adrenaline kick. Endorphins are released. You really do have this immediate pain relief, and that'll last in most people for 4 to 6 hours. So you will feel great when you get out of the machine.
Awesome. And we have another listener that just asked, does it help the bicep if you have severe tendonitis?
Yeah, so there's two things I would say there. Whole body cryotherapy really has a systemic effect. So it's head to toe. Your whole body's in the chamber, and you will feel the benefit from that. But at the same time, we do offer in our facility localized cryotherapy. So if you had a specific pain point, a shoulder, a bicep tendon, a knee that you wanted us to focus on, we could actually apply the cold just to those spots.
Awesome. So we also have somebody who asked, how does this not cause hypothermia?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. It's a great question. So, and it's really based on the time. I mean, I can't tell you if you were in there for 20 minutes that you're not going to get hypothermia. You probably will. But that's the purpose of the therapy is we're controlling the effect. We're putting you in this super cold environment to purposely send the blood back to your core, and we let you out of that machine well before hypothermia sets in. So the way we do that is we're actually measuring your skin temperature when you go in the machine, and we measure your skin temperature when you come out of the machine.
So before I go into the cryotherapy machine, what type of what word am I looking for?
Where?
Yeah, what do I got to do? Like, so I'm going in there. What am I wearing? Do I still keep my clothes on? How does this work?
Sure. So what we do is we have you go in. You wear gloves, you wear socks and slippers that we provide, and a face mask just to cover. Basically, you want to cover the extreme extremities: your fingertips, your nose, your toes. You go in with your own shorts. Women will go in with a sports bra or undergarments, and that's it. As soon as you come out, we provide you with a robe, warm you back up really quick. But yeah, you're basically going in with undergarments on and gloves and socks and slippers.
Okay, cool. We have a guest that would like to know the big question: how much does it cost? Like, how much does a session cost, and then how many times do you suggest that you do cryotherapy?
Yeah, I'll answer the second part first, the how many times. So we do like to kind of get an idea of where you are on, whether you're here for pain or inflammation. Is it chronic? Is it acute? Meaning, is it something that just happened, like a recent injury? And we would base a recommendation on that. So we could say anywhere from 1 time a week for just maintenance for your weekend warrior who works out hard on the weekends and wants to get 1 session in, to 3 to 4 times a week. Daily might be excessive, but we do have some people that'll come in daily.
Okay. Awesome.
But to answer the question on price, so we're $29 to come in for a 1-time session. We do a $49 day pass, which includes some other services, but we also offer memberships for people who want to come on a regular basis. And if you wanted me to, I could provide, if there's some way I could provide that to your listeners, I'm happy to do that. But I know we also have an offer to talk about later on.
Yep, absolutely, we do. So I want to get into the next part, which is I've seen something on the website that kind of I'm afraid of needles, man. I'm not a big needle guy. So I seen this. Could you pull that one up? Could you pull that picture up? This IV infusion, man. What in the heck? You guys look happy with needles in your arms, getting this green stuff in there. What in the world is going on in this picture, man? Tell me about it.
So first of all, that is me and Jordan Poyer from the Buffalo Bills. So I don't know if there's any Bills fans listening in, but I hope he's doing that right now to recover so he could play tomorrow. So he could play on Sunday. But yeah, so the concept is simple enough. We're providing vitamins and minerals directly to your bloodstream. So we've all heard since we were kids, take your vitamins, help your body grow strong, help your body recover as you get older. What we're doing here is we're injecting it directly into your bloodstream through an IV. And the reason we do that is the absorption rate of those vitamins and minerals is 90 to 100% absorption rate. When you take a vitamin, and most people don't realize this, but when you just eat a vitamin, some multivitamin or whatever it might be, you're only absorbing about 25 to 30% of that. And the rest just kind of runs through your system. Because your body's only going to take what it needs when it's going through the digestive system, and that's kind of always moving. So by doing it this way, we're providing nutrients right into your bloodstream. Your body absorbs nearly all of it, but at the same time, all of those nutrients are in a saline bag, so you're getting about a quart of hydration as well, which is great for any athlete trying to recover from athletic performance.
How long does that last? One guest wanted to know, how long does that last?
So 1 week, we would only do 1 IV a week.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Now, so as we've seen that, and now we know that we got to partner this together with cryotherapy. Like, so do we do all this together, or are these married, or one or the other?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on obviously the investment level that you want to make on yourself. But yeah, we would absolutely do all of these together. I would say our higher performing athletes will come in several times a week for cryotherapy, probably that once a week or at least once every other week for an IV. And they generally use our compression machines as well, which are compression sleeves that we have for the arms and legs. Provides a light massage, but also helps to flush out your lymphatic system, which is how we clear out damage and how we clear out toxins. So when you think of working out really hard and you get really sore, you have all that lactic acid building up and then you're sore for a few days. This helps clear all of that out of your system to help you recover faster. So
basically it's like a human version of an oil change.
That's a great way. Yeah, I like that.
So there was another service that I've seen you guys offer. One of the last services I've seen, just not saying that that's all, but one of the biggies that you guys had. And it was body sculpting, man. That's something, once again, that I'm not 100% familiar with, but, I would love for you to explain it. And is this something that you suggest as part of this whole package?
Yeah, so I would say that compared to our other services that we talked about, this is maybe more on the beauty and general wellness side of things as opposed to geared towards sports performance.
Okay.
But what we do with the body sculpting is we actually we freeze fat cells. It actually creates permanent fat loss, decreases cellulite, tightens up and tones your skin. So for people looking for a more aesthetic and beauty boost, it does work really well.
Okay.
So basically, by using what you saw was the cold wand that's part of the machine. But we actually go and pinpoint spots you want to work on, whether that's your your midsection, your thighs, your glutes, and we would actually freeze that fat there over the course of several sessions, and then your body will actually remove those fat cells, creating actually literally permanently removing the fat and decreasing things like cellulite and tightening up that skin tone.
So if my producer, who's my sister, if you could show the video, we actually pulled a video where all these services were inside of it. So if you could show that real quick so they can get an idea of how all this. So the last thing I seen in that video that we didn't talk about yet was the sauna. You said it's an infrared sauna. Could talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think most people know what a sauna is, and the biggest difference here is we use infrared light to generate the heat. So rather than sitting in a room that's baking hot with steam coming up, where you can barely breathe in it, here we have infrared lights that are actually heating the body from within. So the light is what's creating the heat, not ambient temperature around you. But you're getting the same effect that you would in a sauna. So it helps you sweat out toxins, creates relaxation, releases muscle tension. So it's another key point of recovery. It seems like one of those things you would put in a spa, and everyone just thinks of, oh, I'm going to go to a spa retreat, sit in a sauna. But it really is a key part of recovery, because a lot of people have a hard time recovering because of things like stress and tension. And just being able to relax in an atmosphere like that, sweat out some toxins, allow your muscles to relax is huge for recovery.
Sweet. Now we got a list of questions that I'm going from viewers. So I'm gonna run down the line one by one so you can answer them. So the first question we had was what are the guarantees for the fat freezing or what's the rate on the fat freezing? The guaranteed rate of fat freezing. Yes.
I want to make sure I read this right. What's the guarantee rate on the fat freezing? So rate, are we talking about price, or are we talking about the guarantee that you'll actually lose fat?
I would probably vote guarantee that you'll lose fat. Okay. Because that's my mom. So I'll let you answer that question.
So we do. So anybody who's interested in body sculpting, we do start with a 30-minute consultation, and it's a hands-on consultation. We want to get a look at your body, what your pain points are, and we want to see if actually the service will do well for you. So what we don't want to do is put ourselves in a situation where someone really doesn't qualify for whatever reason. Some people actually come in who are thin, and I could see their abs, and they're like, I gotta get rid of this. I'm like, there's nothing to get rid of there. But we do want to qualify you as a candidate. So there's a 30-minute free consultation for anybody. That's always. So if anyone does want to come in and ask, we're happy to sit down with you, do that consultation. I would say the vast majority of people who come in and do multiple sessions, you will see results after first session. But a key component, and we do go over this in the consult, is it's still based on lifestyle. You could come in, we could freeze off that fat, and it might last 2 days if your eating habits don't change. And just like anything else, it's a quick fix, but it's not. There's no such thing as a permanent quick fix.
Cool. Now the next question is, with COVID, because there's a lot of people interested, but with COVID, what precautions in an environment like this, where we're talking needles and we're using chambers and saunas, what precautions are being taken?
Sure. So, one thing about our industry, similar to, I'm sure, if you've been in athletic training rooms and physical therapy rooms, we have to keep the facility clean regardless. All sterile equipment when it comes to the IVs, everything gets wiped down after every guest comes through. Our staff will always be wearing masks. At least right now in Raleigh, guests will have to wear masks, and I see that for the foreseeable future. But when that changes, we'll change our protocols as necessary. And we also have to be held to the same 30% capacity as gyms are right now. So we're limiting the number of people through the doors. We're doing our parts. We're all going to be, masked up and keeping the facility as clean as it could possibly be.
Sweet. So then, besides that, somebody also asked, what are the other services besides these, if you do have any? Do you have any outside of the 3 that we showed?
Yeah, so I'll run through all of them just so I don't miss one by accident. But it's cryotherapy, the whole body cryotherapy, the localized cryotherapy, and with that localized cryotherapy, we also do cryofacials. So I think you saw that in the video. We're holding the wand over someone's face. So the cryofacials are also great for decreasing wrinkles and tightening up skin tone on your face alone. We do the infrared sauna, compression therapy, IV therapy, and the body sculpting.
Okay. Awesome. And I think, let me make sure we got through those questions. I need the body sculpting. How much?
Well, if you need it, we'd love to have you come in, do the consult. We do sell in packages. You'll be able to find those shortly on our website. We're actually, because we're not open yet, we're opening in I'll talk about this in a second, but we're opening in several weeks. We'll be posting a lot of that information on our pricing, but we'll be offering packages of 3, 5, and 10 sessions. Okay.
So that was actually my next question, because somebody asked, where are they located? Because I need to go ASAP.
Yeah, so our address is 200 Park at North Hills Street. That's in Raleigh. That's it's in North Hills, right across from Midtown Green, if you're familiar with the area. And we're opening on February 13th. So that'll be our grand opening, Saturday the 13th.
Sweet. So then here's something that we have, because I got to get to our next guest. But here's something that we do have. We actually have this. Could you pop it up? This is a VIP pass and a promotion that we're going to offer. But to be eligible for it, you have to like iCryo which one, North Hills or the Triangle?
Yeah, iCryo North Hills. I'm sorry, my apologies. iCryo Triangle on Facebook.
So you have to like iCryo Triangle on Facebook, and then also First and Goal 365. And what we will do tomorrow is have a drawing for this pass. And on this pass, you have 3 different things on there for $29. Can you go over them real quick?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, $29 usually gets you only 1 whole body cryo session. But with this VIP pass, we're doing 3 services for $29. So you get a whole body cryotherapy, you get a compression therapy, which is about a 30-minute session, and you get an infrared sauna session, which is also another 30 minutes. So Sweet. You could come spend a nice evening with us, and it only cost you $29. And hopefully you'll be feeling great and have a great night's sleep.
And once again, it's going to be iCryo North Hills, right?
So facebook.com/iCryo Triangle.
Triangle, because I keep getting those 2 confused.
I apologize. Our address is North Hills. Yeah.
Okay, so it's iCryo Triangle on Facebook. Friend that or like that, and then also First and Goal 365. We'll put your name in, and tomorrow I'll do a live drawing, and maybe I'll talk with Matt, and we can work something out for our listeners, because it seems like they want to come to you ASAP, brother.
I love it, and I'd love to be back and chat with you again. This is great.
Awesome. We definitely do it, man. I thank you for your time, and I'll be getting in contact real soon so we can give you who won the VIP pass.
Terrific. Thanks, you guys.
Man. Appreciate your time. All right, man. That was awesome. That was a lot of information. What time will the drawing be, Miss Nicole? I am not sure yet. I will announce it on my page, and I will let y'all know. And hopefully I can work out something where majority of the listeners who were asking questions, we can get you guys in there for something, because it seemed that there was a crew of people that wanted. So we're on 3rd down, man. We're rolling, and I don't want to hold her too long, because I know she was waiting, but we got more information and more giveaways to give on this show, talking about recovery. So with that being said, here's 3rd down.
Third Down is brought to you today by Top Notch Massage.
So, Top Notch Massage, I have, like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable about massages. Bottom line is, I get them if my back hurts, but I don't know really what's going on or why or any of that. So, I went to go get a masseuse, and here she is, Miss Chrishauna Thomas. How are you, ma'am? Uh-oh, I can't hear. Your microphone is muted.
I said, I'm
Oh,
good. How are you? Sorry.
I'm good. I am good. Thank you for waiting and being here with us tonight and going over this information. So I have a question,
Okay.
and we'll just jump right in. What's the importance of a massage? Because most people think massage candles and sweet nothings. And the first time I got a real massage, it hurt like hell. So tell me about this.
Okay, so the type of massage I do is called therapeutic massage. The name of my business is Top Notch Therapeutic. So I wanted to distinguish myself from people who do a lot of like really, really nice, Swedish. I call them fluff and goes. But therapeutic massage is going to help every aspect of your body. Therapeutic massage is going to lower your blood pressure, increase circulation, decrease swelling. It's really, really good for a bunch of different things. It's amazing for athletes. I actually started out with athletes a long, long time ago, like 15, 17 years ago. I started out with athletes because I was an athlete and I kept getting hurt. And I realized very quickly that when something hurts, your instinct is to grab it. So our instinct is to grab it. So our body tells us that. And then massage does the exact same thing. So what I focus on heavily now is called trigger point massage. And trigger point is essentially taking little knots in the muscles and relieving that pain. So I press on it. You're right. It does hurt like hell. And I just tell people, give me 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, breathe deeply. I promise it'll stop. I'm really, really good at what I do. And they trust me for about 30 seconds before they smack me. So, yeah, it works. It works really well.
So let me ask you this, because like I said, we deal with a lot of parents and also high school athletes. How often do you think on average, an athlete should get a massage? Especially, this podcast kind of is heavy focused in football. How often do you think you should get a massage when you're in such a high contact sport?
So my son plays football, not high school. He's only in Pop Warner. But I tend to work on him weekly because he has practice 5 days a week. He's playing on Saturdays. I mean, during COVID, of course, outside of COVID. But he was playing heavily. So I was constantly stretching him, always massaging him, always doing recovery. Same thing when they were in track. So I would say as often as you can, especially once you get to like high school level. They have a lot of athletic training staff who's trained in massage. They don't do it as proficiently as a licensed massage therapist, but they're also very good. They will get your muscles back to where they need to be, back to a point of homeostasis. And so that's key. So if you can afford it and you have a massage therapist that you trust, I would say if you're working on something, at least every 2 weeks. But my athletes who I train for combines, my athletes who are getting ready for, high competition, states, nationals, things like that, I see them pretty much every day, every other day. So just like you would work out, like I give their bodies just enough time to recover and then they're back on my table.
So you mentioned something, you said stretching in there. And I know my mother's a personal trainer and she always emphasizes stretching. Is that a service that you also provide? You don't do stretching at all?
No, I do. I do stretch. I do a lot of stretching actually. So because my background, I was trained to be an athletic trainer. That's how I got into massage therapy. So my background was always more sports related. And so I always did a lot more stretching. And then coming out of school, I got a job in physical therapy. So again, we're doing a lot of stretching, a lot of electric stim, icing, different modalities. And so I've always catered more towards like I said, the therapeutic nature of it. I stretch legs, hamstrings, quads, biceps, triceps, necks, especially. People leave out your neck a lot. And I do a really, really deep neck stretch and a pull and a lot of craniosacral therapies that people find amazing. And they'll get on my table having had massages every month for years and go, no one's ever done this.
Right, right. I've
Most
never had
people
my
don't
neck
know
stretched.
how to. So
Yeah. So, and when you get your neck stretched, what are you looking for? I've never had my neck stretched. Like,
So
what?
typically you want to just kind of go from traps to traps. So I take and I push your head as far as it will go, one side to the other, and it really, really stretches out your traps, your SCM, your levators, like everything that is in your neck. Your neck does a whole lot of work that people don't take the time to really understand. I mean, your head's heavy. It's like a
Mhm.
bowling ball being held up by spaghetti noodles. So I stretch out the spaghetti noodles and then everything's like, oh, okay, we can breathe. We can relax now. So
Right, right. You used a big word not too long ago. Something homa, something.
homeostasis,
Yeah, what is that? You
it's
used it.
getting
You
your body
grabbed it
back
like
to
we
center.
are. You said that
Yeah,
like
so
we
it's
were supposed to
basically
be
like
living.
getting back to center, getting back to even, getting back to where everything started out. When you're at a homeostatic point, everything feels okay. Like everything outside of that would be considered disease or would be considered illness or, malfunction or something like that. But a
Mhm.
homeostatic point is always where you want to be.
Got you, got you. So now, of course, you're in another business that's hands-on, and so with COVID, how has that changed? Has it changed massages, and are gloves now required for your services? How does that work?
So the state of North Carolina is not currently requiring gloves. I am in several groups where their gloves are required in those states. I personally have not started using gloves. I have a lot of friends that do. It's
Mhm,
just a personal preference, but my business is majority hands-on and I
mhm,
like to feel. I like the touch.
mhm,
I do sanitize my table before and after every service. I clean my sheets on high heat and sanitize. I wear a mask. My clients also wear a mask. When they're face down, I allow them to pull it off of their nose so they
mhm,
can breathe. But then when they're
mhm,
face up, we're both covered because that's the only time we're really not socially distanced from one another. But when
uh-huh,
they're face down, they're facing the floor and then I'm on top of them. So just by the default of the position, it's kind of 6 feet and we're more socially distanced.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, I am as cautious as I possibly can be. I go into my clients' homes. So that's a
mhm,
big difference between me and a lot of people. I'm not asking them to come into a space that you don't know has been cleaned or sanitized. Like I said, all I have to do is clean and sanitize my table. I wash my
mhm.
hands before and after every service. And then my clients can see that I'm wearing a mask. And so they feel safe because I'm in their home. And most
Yeah.
people feel safest in their space.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because I've seen athletes do it, and just with your expertise, I've seen cupping. Is
Mhm.
that something should that be done? I've seen a guy. So I got bad hamstrings. I've had them since high school running track, and this guy actually said you should get your hamstrings cupped. I'm like, man, what is that? So what is cupping, and what is the effects of that?
So cupping is amazing. I actually just started doing cupping. I just added it to my practice a month ago. If
Okay.
I didn't have this makeup on, you would be able to see a whole bunch of bruises where I cut myself on my neck. But cupping is amazing. So a lot like what the previous guy with iCryo, Matt, was talking about, it basically takes all of that blood and it brings it all to the surface and then it releases back fresh oxygenated blood back into your bloodstream. So it's
Mhm,
taking all of the bad and it's kind of bringing it to the surface. And you do get bruises. The bruises
mhm,
don't hurt. It's just kind of a weird feeling. So it's like a vacuum on your skin. There are
mhm,
glass cups, there are plastic cups. I personally use plastic because I travel. It's
mhm,
safer and they're much easier to clean for me.
mhm,
But a lot of my friends who do cupping and are very proficient with it, they use glass cups with a vacuum. So that it has a vacuum seal and you can pull it as tight or as loose as you need it to be just to get the effects. But it is amazing for recovery. Like I said, it brings up all that lactic acid. It just pulls everything to the surface and it does leave you feeling a whole lot looser. The reason I
Awesome.
had all the bruises is because I had a migraine. And so when I had my migraine, I didn't have anyone to work on me. Everyone else was busy. It's
Yeah.
hard to reach my own neck. So I literally just popped some cups on there and left them for 15, 20 minutes.
Now you just said something, because I have been getting migraines since the fifth grade. So what is this technique? Is it something that you can do yourself, or do you have to have somebody do it for you?
I would suggest having someone else do it for you. Learning the technique of cupping it's not hard, but it is something that you need to be trained to do.
Okay.
Also, a lot of trigger point work, those muscles that I was talking about before, your SCM, your levators, all of those things contribute to headaches, tension headaches, migraines. It's something I'm really, really good at. When I worked in physical therapy, when you're dealing with insurance, you work in units. And so insurance companies do not play about their money. They're like, oh, we'll give you 1 unit, 2 units, 3
Okay.
weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks. And so you have to really get in there, relieve the pain, and then get back out. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm really, really good at, relieving tension, headaches, migraines. It's just really hard to do on myself.
Yeah. Okay. So then let me ask you this, because there's different types of massages. And so do different types of massages do different things for your body? So like you'll go in and say you need a Swedish or your deep tissue, or what are the different things that these massages do? Like if I call you and say my back is hurting, what do I don't know what one I do. So how does somebody know what to do?
So that's a great question. I personally do not differentiate between the types of massage. I do what I call a custom massage. So that means that if there are parts of your body, and I ask people, hey, what do you want to work on today? If they say, oh, my shoulder's killing me, my neck is killing me, I'll go to that area. I'll typically relieve a few trigger points. I'll do some deep tissue. I'll do some myofascial release, and then I'll leave it alone. I do Swedish. I can do a light touch. I can do the relaxing, nice things, but that's what a Swedish is. It's typically very nice, relaxing. You're just rubbing. You're just doing a lot of superficial work, essentially. Deep tissue is going to be a lot heavier of a pressure. It's going to get very deep into your muscles. It's typically very slow, very methodical, but a lot of people can't handle it. So when they say deep tissue, what they mean is I'd like a deeper pressure. I'd like a more heavy pressure.
Yeah.
So without people knowing, it's my job to know. It's not their job to know my profession. So I don't necessarily ask them. I say, have you had a massage before? If they say yes, did you prefer lighter or heavier pressure? Oh, somewhere in the middle. That tells me that I can't really just go and stick my elbow in their traps or, something like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's necessary. Some people will say, I don't care what you have to do, just fix me. And I'll tell them, this is going to hurt. Drink a lot of water. You're going to be sore. You can take hot showers, baths, Epsom salts, but I always give them the ramifications of the type of massage that I'm doing, because people know what to expect in the aftermath. It makes all the difference. A lot of times people will go in for a deep tissue and no one tells them it's going to hurt. You will wake up tomorrow and feel like you got hit by a bus. If nobody tells you that, it sucks.
You're right, because the last dude who did a deep tissue to me took his elbow and put it in the small of my back, and I promise you, I wanted to fight him because he didn't give me any warning or anything like that.
Definitely, you have to warm them up to it. So I warm up the tissues first, and then like my clients, my regulars, that's what they come to me for. If I even tried to lighten up, if I was having a rough day, oh, you could go heavier. What's wrong with you? They don't play, like they know. I think Jaden will tell you, Shonda will tell you, like, I really get in there. So it's what I'm good at, though. I can do the lighter stuff. It's just, I don't think it's as proficient for me, because the type of money that it costs, if I'm charging you the same thing, I'd rather you get off my table and say, my back works better. I feel better. I can turn my neck from side to side. I didn't get a headache for 2 or 3 weeks after that. Those things are important to me. And that's how I get repeat clients, not by just rubbing oil on people.
Awesome. Now, speaking of repeat clients, for the viewers, how do they get to you? How can they book you? Or are you booked until a certain time already? How can we get to you?
So the easiest way is probably to go on my Facebook page. You can go on my personal page, Chrishauna Thomas, and you can message me, or you can go on my Facebook page, Top Notch Therapeutic, and it's TNT Massage. There's my card. There's my business. There it is. There's my business card. So it's TNT Massage on Facebook, Top Notch Therapeutic. Either way, if you just go to one of those pages and message me, I do all of my booking personally. Because I travel, I don't have a website that allows people to book their times, because I may be in Durham at 1 o'clock and you want a 2 o'clock in Nightdale. There's no way I can facilitate that. Right. So I make sure that I book my days out. If I'm in Durham that day, I just allow a little more time to get back to Raleigh. I live in Raleigh. I don't typically have a travel fee. So yeah, it's the easiest way to get with me.
Awesome. And so you also are giving one listener as well a promo as well. So
Yeah.
you said
Sure.
pay
So,
30, you get an hour.
yep. So pay for 30 minutes, get an hour. That is exactly what we're going to do. So basically, you buy 30 and the other 30 is on me. So it's a really good deal. A 30-minute massage for my business is only $40. Super affordable. And especially if you can get an hour massage for $40, you can't beat it.
Can't beat it. So tomorrow, what we'll do, once again, to do this, you have to go to Top Notch Therapeutic, the Facebook page, like that. Also, First and Goal 365, like that as well. And then we will do a drawing tomorrow. I will announce the time because I keep seeing people ask when tomorrow. I will announce the time that I will do this tomorrow. And we will go ahead and do the drawing. I'll let those know. And then once I let you know, do you want to contact them? You want me to contact them for you? How do you want to do that?
Either way, I mean, I can contact them. I just actually finished a raffle today for a single moms group. And I mean, they did the raffles Friday. And
Okay.
I already knocked out both of them. So I like to get those in and out. I don't like to keep people waiting. My calendar fills up pretty quickly for the weekends, but I do weekdays as well. So I like to just kind of get them on the books and get them done.
Sounds
But
good.
I'll
I'll make sure that information is to you tomorrow. And I thank you for your time, Ms. Thomas.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. So that was a lot of information, man. From iCryo to Ms. Thomas and the massages and all that stuff. Hopefully that everybody takes advantage of this. I will make sure that we tag iCryo's information inside of the comments so that you guys can come back and see it. I'll even put it on my page. Matter of fact, I know iCryo is in the comments of this, not the comments, but in the actual post. If you go back and look at the top of the post for this podcast, you'll see iCryo in there. You'll see Matt in there, and you'll also see the tag for Miss Thomas. All that stuff is in there. That's the Facebook for iCryo Triangle. So that's all the information. And like I said, the stuff is also up top. So look up top. You'll see the little blue links up there. Click them and get situated. Everybody seems to love the iCryo. I'm going to see if I can work something out with Matt to make sure we can get everybody who wants to get inside of there. And in closing, we have fourth down. So run fourth down.
Fourth down brought to you by Coach Block. Why? Because I don't have a sponsor yet for fourth down.
So there's no sponsor for fourth down yet. So with that being said, this is just my normal closing, man. I just wanted to really briefly speak on something. Why I do what I do and what the purpose of all this is. Yesterday, I had somebody who was watching my Facebook page and made a comment and said, "Ken Blocker, you're a racist." And it kind of bugged me all day long, man. It actually really bugged me all day long because calling somebody who works with all types of people, as you've seen today, and somebody who deals with youth and somebody who deals with all types of genres of people, it's like, why would somebody with such a single vision of me say, "Oh, you're a racist"? And so I said, you know what, maybe I should give why I do this. The reason why I do everything that I do as far as first and goal, as far as the way I coach, how I coach, all that stuff is because as a player, when I was in high school, I didn't get any of this. I didn't have anybody actually take the time to speak to me about what my options were or what I could do. I actually was just kind of used as cattle. And for me, I don't want to see any player, any parent go through that. When it was time for me to be recruited, I played 4 years for my high school. When it was time for me to be recruited, junior year, I was recruited happy. Senior year, all of a sudden, no letters, no nothing. And it was because the coach had a personal thing against me as a child. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And it squanders opportunities for people who are young people who have absolutely no idea what opportunities are out there for them. You have adults that tend to be guards over them and want to regulate what they can and cannot have. And I absolutely refuse to do that as a person. Then you have people who see these young people as dollar signs, and what they want to do is just get and accumulate as much money as they possibly can and then get out. So I choose to be a different voice for that. First and Goals built on giving players and giving parents the opportunity to understand everything that's out there so that you can make a decision for what's best for your child, and the student athlete can make the best decision for themselves. So for me, I look at the wide range of people. I deal with all types of people for that reason, because opportunity out here does not have a color. The one thing that we have to realize is we have to work together in any and everything that we do. You never know who the next person is that's going to help you in your life. And if you choose to have tunnel vision and only see the world through your lens versus looking at the world through another person's lens, then you will suffer. And so when I seen that yesterday, I noticed that the person who accused me of being racist was only seeing the world through their lens and not through the lens that I live in, where there are things against African Americans and especially African American males that cause them to be angry. And so because you do voice your opinion about your anger, it doesn't make you a racist, it makes you aware. And a lot of times people want us to just fall asleep on things, and we're not going to do that. And as a person who is in the lives of a lot of young people who don't have those voices, I will be that voice. I will never stop being that voice for young people who don't have the voice, because there are at times wall of adults who refuse to open the door of opportunity for whatever their personal reasons may be, because they want to see the world through their lens versus seeing it through a child. So First and Goal is actually built to be able to open the doors of opportunity for all, without politics, without worrying about any of the issues that you see in the world, but just treating one another as as people, as humans, and then letting everybody make the best decisions for themselves, understanding what's in front of them. So with that being said, anybody who feels like Coach Block is a racist, talk to me. Find out why I have the views that I have. Find out why sometimes there are certain things inside of me or anybody else that you may not agree with, why they're angry. We are in a time right now where we're probably about a half a second from everybody just spazzing out. But there's just reason for a lot of people to hold this anger. A lot of anger has been bottled up because guess what? We don't know how to get this out. We don't know where to go. So you see protests, you see all this stuff that you see, because guess what? People don't understand how to get this out. And for me, this vessel that I use for First and Goal is a way to get out what happened to me as a child, that I carried over into me being a college athlete, that I carried over to me being an adult. This is my vessel. This is my way. And at any person, anybody, I don't care what race you are, if I can help you or if I can help your child, you hit me up. The only people that I've ever noticed that had a problem with me was people who noticed I won't silence my voice when I see some wrong or some injustice. And especially when I see children being done wrong, or I see children in a position where adults are treating them unfair. So for me and for mine and for anybody who's around me, we all fight for the right cause. And that's to see everybody live their life happy and choose life every single day. That's why my saying is don't compare, compete, because we got to fight. There's a lot of stuff going on in this world, and it's not all peaches and creams. And we got to be direct with our youth, and we have to be direct with ourselves when we see each other and know that we may not agree, but we got to work together. All right. So with that being said, thank y'all for y'all time. Please continue to come back to the First and Goal podcast. What we will be doing next is having a conversation with quarterbacks. We've had some situations where quarterbacks have been criticized and not criticized, and black quarterbacks and white quarterbacks and all that good stuff. So we've already done an interview with Medee Williams. who played at Syracuse, African-American quarterback. We have him. We have that. We have some other things going on. So next week, we'll be diving into the mindset of a quarterback. I want to thank y'all for your time. God bless and good night.